Welcome to the Impact Revolution channel. Thank you so much for coming. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Yoshi, and I'm really happy to be here. I really enjoy getting to meet you through this. So thank you.
Thank you to you for making time, for sharing now your experiences. So normally, Sybil, before we start with the professional, more business-related questions, I would like to ask you a couple of questions that are a bit more personal, so the audience knows you. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right, cool. So, Sybil, if you could wake up anywhere in the world tomorrow, what it will be and why?
I would want to wake up in Ireland.
Okay, cool.
My husband and I have visited there several times. We just love the country, love the people. They're warm, they're
Mm,
friendly. It's just beautiful country,
mm.
and that's where I'd like to be with my family.
All right, very cool. Nice, yeah. It's a bit colder, right? A bit wetter, but it's cool. Yeah, actually, one of my former bosses were both Irish. My best bosses were Irish. I love the Irish people. They're cool.
They are great.
All right, thank you. Now, if I was asking you what was your happiest moment in your life, what is the first memory that comes to your life, Sylvia?
The first memory. Um, First memory is sitting outside on the back porch while
Okay.
our housekeeper was stringing up laundry to dry. She was hanging up the laundry, and the air was fresh and sweet, and the birds were singing, and the sun was shining. And I had to be around four, maybe 4 or 5, and I
Uh-huh.
just felt happy. That was
All
my
right.
earliest happy moment. I
All right.
fortunately I've had many since then.
All right, that's very cool. That's very nice. What made you that situation be so special for you, Cyril? Out of curiosity.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, what makes that situation so special, so happy for you? What made
It was just a perfect moment.
uh,
And getting it wasn't until I got older that I realized that I was very, very fortunate to grow up in a close, loving family.
uh,
And I had the best parents that anyone could ask for. My siblings and I are all very close in age. Unfortunately, I've lost my two brothers,
mm,
uh, but
sorry
we
about
were
that.
always close. And we used to have this thing where there were four of us born in basically 3 years, including a pair of twins.
All right,
And we
cool.
were very close in age, and we used to fight a lot of sibling rivalry.
Uh,
And my
who
father
doesn't?
used to break up our fights, and all
Uh,
he had to say is, "Someday you'll love each other."
uh.
And that would, like, oh, no way. But he was right. He was right. We were all very close. So
Uh,
looking
uh.
back on it becomes even more special because I had such a happy childhood.
That's
Thank you.
great. That's good. Thank you to you for sharing that. That's beautiful. Yeah, brothers. It doesn't look like, but we fight a lot, but then we love a lot as well. That's cool. All right, now, Civil. I know you have a lot of experience in this marketing, internal marketing, and all this business that you have done so far, and now you are close to the retirement that you say, right? I want to know, what was your why? What has made you to be so passionate about this field that you do?
I just I love working with people.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting, Yoshi, is
Uh-huh.
my educational background is not in business.
Uh-huh.
My college degree was in social psychology,
All
which is
right,
a
cool.
studies of groups and organizations.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And early in my career, I kind of fell into marketing and decided I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But the marketing I was in, I started in bank marketing, which was financial services marketing. And I've only ever been in the services marketing field. And I want to
Mm-hmm.
highlight that because services marketing is very different than packaged good marketing. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
Coke or Pepsi
Mm-hmm.
or Frito Lay. So it's not food related. It's not like an Apple computer or an iPhone. It's not tangible. Selling a service or providing a service, whether it be healthcare, education, social services, financial services, it's all people driven. People are the ones who deliver the brand, and it's an intangible experience that becomes tangible. And one of the things I learned early on is where a lot of marketing's focus is on the customer.
Mm-hmm.
In services marketing, because the employees are the brand, the focus has to be on the employees as well. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I discovered and developed a passion for internal marketing. And, it gets down to, you can have the greatest bank relationship in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Love the bank, love the rates, love their products. But if you go in and you have a bad experience with a customer service rep or a teller or a loan manager, that hurts the brand.
Mm-hmm.
So my focus was on taking care of the employees to take care of the customer. And it used a lot of the social psychology that I had learned. So I have used my major every single day of my career, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Uh-huh. It's interesting, right? Yeah, this social psychology and then get to that kind of inner business, inner marketing in the companies. That's nice. And thank you for that, Sybil. I wanted to know what are your main lessons learned that you had so far in this business? What would you say?
Oh, lessons learned. What's really important is respect.
Mm-hmm.
Respect for the people you work with, respect for the clients, for the customers, for the employees, respect for everyone. And let me go back a minute, Yoshi. When
Sure.
I was talking, one of the things that got me early in my bank marketing career is
Mm-hmm.
we were putting together a promotion to
Okay.
attract new accounts. And you came in and you brought in new money, or you added to your account, and you got things like a toaster or a golf umbrella or whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
we spent a lot of time putting the promotion together. And in putting the promotion together, I kept thinking, well, when are we going to let the people in the branches know? Because that's where the merchandise was going to be distributed from. They were the ones giving out the merchandise to the customers, taking in the new accounts, taking care of the inventory
Uh-huh.
of the items we were giving. And it was almost like the employees were an afterthought. And that really bothered me because I kept thinking, we can spend all this marketing money on the premiums, on the items that we're giving out. We could spend it on the advertising and the promotion, and we could spend it on signage. But if a customer walks into the branch and having seen the ad the day before and said, "This is great, I'd like to open a new account because I want the golf umbrella or the toaster, whatever." And
Uh-huh.
if the customer service rep or teller doesn't know what they're talking about, we've just wasted all that money. But to me,
Mm-hmm.
it was more than the money. It was the lack of respect for not giving enough time and attention to the teller and the customer service representative and the branch managers. My focus was on getting them involved early so they
Mm-hmm.
knew what was expected of them. And to me, it was a matter of respect,
Mm.
because if that situation happened where the teller couldn't answer the customer's question, it ticks off the customer, makes the customer angry. But worse than that, it's embarrassing and insulting to the
Uh,
employee to not have been told ahead of time.
Mm. Is
So respect is big.
this considerate? Yeah, is
Yes,
about being
consideration.
consideration. Yeah, yeah, I like that. Yeah, great example. Yeah, beautiful. No, definitely. Yeah, there has to be a connection and great communication internally in order to provide the best service, right? Because if everybody doesn't know what we are doing or what it has been done
Right.
from the top, yeah, then that doesn't make any sense for the customer experience. That's really cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And I know you get it. That's that's why I'm so happy to do this with you.
Yeah,
And
no,
hopefully people will tune in so others will get it. And you're right.
yeah,
Part of the
it's
respect is communication,
uh-huh.
and it's empathy, understanding
Empathy.
what the people who are involved have to do. I used to joke sometimes about marketing in a lot of organizations, because it
Uh-huh.
was kind of like, another department would see us coming, and it's like, bar the doors, here comes marketing. We don't want them to know we're here.
Uh-huh.
Because in essence, what marketing did, even though we were trying to bring in new customers for everyone, we were perceived as creating work for other departments.
Okay, sure, yeah.
So
It's more
it's
business.
having that empathy for the people that, we can plan and strategize all we want, but if we don't include and engage the people who are directly involved,
Hmm.
it's a waste.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's a good point. It's a good point that many people don't maybe realize. And the more business, there could be more stress, and other people could be influenced or affected by it. And the consideration to get everybody involved and to pitch in, right? And to see that everything is okay and everything is aligned. It makes a lot of sense, definitely. Sybil, thank you so much. Yeah. All right. So, I normally ask this question at the end of the interview, but I feel like doing it now. So, if you had the chance to leave a big message to the whole world, Sybil, what it will be and why? It cannot be your quote.
Oh,
I'm sorry. It has to be something different.
you read my mind. That was my quote.
Yeah.
You know, part related to my quote is take
Oh,
care of the employees, they'll take care of the customers.
okay.
My message, though, I want to go back to it, is respect others, be empathetic, be caring.
Mhm.
Um, it's so important, and unfortunately, today we see it in the United States. Unfortunately, uh, there's more dissent. There's not a lot of empathy. There's not a lot of respect. There's not a lot of dialogue or communication.
Yeah, a lot of
And to me, it comes
polarization,
down
right?
to respect and communication and connection.
Hmm. Yeah, I was going to well, I'm going to write a article tomorrow about this, about having empathy, because there has been a video I watched on LinkedIn by someone who posted. He was saying that the chat box of an AI application, that are OpenAI, they had more empathy than the real doctors,
Oh,
they were
that's not good.
testing, that's not good, they
That's not
they
good.
they dehumanize organizations, in a way that now ChatGPT and all these robots are going to be preferred as leaders or managers, rather than real, yeah, because they lack empathy, most of them, or a high percentage. And I was astonished, I was like, no way, this cannot. So, what is this?
Scary.
Yeah, what is this respect from you comes from? Why is this word respect for you is such a big thing, Silvio?
My parents, again, they
Yeah.
were big on respect, and as my mother often said, you don't get respect automatically. You have to earn it,
Mm,
and it takes a lot of time to build. Part of what's involved in respect is trust, and it
mm,
takes a long time to build,
mm.
but it takes a second to destroy trust and
Yes.
respect.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
I like that. Mhm.
I do want to go back. I think you asked me the what was it, the
Sure.
lessons learned.
Yes, yes,
I'm
of
just thinking
course.
about,
Sure.
besides respect,
Uh-huh.
um, communication and connection.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they're all tied in with each other.
Yes.
And as part of that, which is also important to me, is having a good sense of humor,
Uh,
lightening things up. One of the things I found is
Levity.
levity.
Yeah.
When I would work with clients, I would have to become almost part of their organization so
Mm,
that I could understand what their situations were and how I could best help them.
mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, or when I was done with the project, I always kept in touch with them. But at the end of the day, I was going back to my consultancy and continuing to work with them and other clients, but they had to live in the ugliness of the politics of their organization.
Mm,
I was not there all the time, but I would be, you know, I would stay in touch with them. I would every once in a while send them some cartoons to lighten things up
mm.
that were relevant to them. I once
Uh-huh.
got uh, it
Sure.
was a voodoo doll
Okay.
for one of my clients to stick pins in. It was a happy voodoo doll. And I
Uh,
said, well, when you're dealing with stress and you really need to, just let go, do this, it's safer. And call me if you need to vent.
uh,
So having a sense of humor helped.
yes, definitely. That's good. It reminds me to a book. The two teachers from Stanford University, I think was the book is Humor Seriously. It's very
Mhm.
good. It talks about levity and how that helps and how it helps the brain to be more creative. When we are laughing because you cannot be sad or fearful and happy at the same time. It's
Right.
just two emotions that doesn't happen at the same time. So it's cool. And that brings me to this Lego. How you use this Lego? How this Lego thing came to you, Sybil, to use it in an organization? Mm.
A number of years ago, I kind of I was a career marketer
Uh-huh.
slash facilitator. And I
Mm-hmm.
found that I was always doing a little facilitation in my work. And I
Mm-hmm.
got a little more serious about it less than halfway through into my business. And I've been doing this, my business is 35 years old now.
Mm-hmm.
And I had attended a facilitator conference, and I was introduced to the concept of Lego Serious Play, which is using Lego in business as a thinking, communication, and problem solving approach.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it, and this was like 15 or 20 years ago, and I was too busy to get involved with it. This had been started by the Lego Corporation for the Lego Corporation. They were looking for a way to apply Lego. They could use Legos in their strategy development at the corporate level.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought in business people, they brought in linguistics specials, neurological specials, communications specials, psychologists, people who worked in gaming theory. And this
Uh-huh.
evolved over the years. And at some point, about, I don't remember, like 10 or 20 years ago,
Sure.
Lego was having some financial issues. I think, well, it was almost 20 years ago during the recession of 2008, the global recession.
Uh-huh.
And they had set it aside, and then other people picked it up. Now, we're still affiliated with Lego, but I was certified several years ago by two of the founding members of the Association of Master Trainers. And these two individuals had been key in the development of Lego Serious Play from the beginning.
Ah,
So
very
now,
interesting.
having been certified, I am part of a global network of Lego Serious Play facilitators. In fact, I was in a global chat with them last week. There were about 98 of us from 35 countries. And
Cool.
we use Lego Serious Play in business. I use it
Uh,
primarily not for strategy development, I use it for team development.
mm,
And it's a prescribed way of using Lego to help people develop insights, better understand each other, communicate better.
uh-huh.
It's just fabulous. I keep trying to play down the fun part of it because it's hard to go into business and say you want to play with Lego, and they say get out of here. Uh, but it is fun,
Uh-huh.
and it's effective. It's creative. It's innovative. It's effective. And since the pandemic, we need fun more than ever,
Uh-huh.
especially in the
Totally.
workplace.
Yeah, totally.
So,
I I was wondering, Sybil, thank you so much for sharing that. It's very well said and very well explained. So I was wondering, what is the best example you could give us just to, illustrate this Lego effectiveness in team development that you were discussing? Do you have any example that you could give us?
well, the way it works is everybody has the exact same set of bricks, the Lego
Uh-huh.
bricks, and
Okay.
there's everybody gets the exact same set. So they get the same number, type, color, shape of
Mm,
bricks. So
mm,
everybody's on a level playing field.
mm,
And I may ask people, um, everybody's got the same kits, and I may ask them a question as a facilitator. I ask them questions, they build Lego models in response, and then we share the models. So I would ask you, Yoshi, if you were in one of my sessions,
mhm,
I might say, what is it that energizes you about your work in this company?
Mm-hmm.
And you build a model, and you may say, well, this brick represents my colleagues, and there's one minifigure. This represents me and how much I enjoy being with my colleagues, and here's how I go about this. So you answer the question, what energizes you about your work,
Uh-huh.
in a way that's very different than if you sat around a table and put it up on a flip chart. And if you do it on a flip chart, the first person gets the advantage. And then everybody else, may change what they say. Whereas with Lego Serious Play, you're all building at the same time. You're building your own unique models.
Interesting, yeah.
So it's a more creative expression. It's a deeper expression.
Mm-hmm.
And by sharing their models, you can see where a lot of their thoughts overlap.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Um, and it's almost, it's just a great thing, because in expressing yourself that way, and we say there are no wrong models.
Mm-hmm.
What matters is the meaning you put into your model and the metaphors you use with the bricks.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see what somebody next to you, and we take turns. Everybody takes turns sharing their model one at a time.
Sure, sure.
And nobody's allowed to critique the models.
Uh-huh.
Nobody's allowed to say, Yoshi, the model you built to me represents. No, it matters what you put into the model.
It's very cool.
And it's
I think I
cool
got it.
because then people discover not only insight about themselves, but they discover the common bonds and themes
Mm.
that they didn't know they had.
I'm interested in that. What did you find out? Because at the end, all we are humans. We are all loving humans, and we long connection, right? And we want connection, and we want to have this kind of a good atmosphere to work on. So I was wondering, what has been your main discoveries in this?
The main discoveries have been the joy that people get out of doing this,
Mm-hmm.
the closeness, the insights they discover about themselves and their others, and the bonding experience, because it's so unique and they don't expect to play with Legos in an office setting.
Mm-hmm.
And the level of engagement, um, it's 100% engagement. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
is left out. And the one thing that has amazed me in doing these, and the ideal size for these are like 6 to 12 people in a group setting. Well, it's different when you have 6 people, taking a minute or two to share their models, whereas when you have 12 people each taking a turn, it takes a little longer.
Sure.
And I never pick on people. You don't, as a facilitator, we don't pick on people and say, okay, Yoshi, please tell us what your model represents.
Mm-hmm.
We ask for a volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll have 1 or 2 people volunteer, and then they may go around the table or whatever. But what's fascinated me recently in some of the ones is the first time after the second time, and we do a series of different models. They break the
Uh-huh.
model down, then they build a model in response to a different question. That by the third model, people are like, I want to go first. I want to go first. I want to go next. I want to go next. They're so eager and anxious to share what they've built. And
Uh,
that to me is amazing.
that was really cool, yeah. That sounds fun, really.
It
And
is.
this the bonding experience, the engagement experience, it has to be very powerful. And you say about the overlapping things, right? That many people build different things, of course, because they illustrate or they construct in different ways, but they kind of meant the same thing, right?
They
Is
mean
what I
the
understand.
same thing. The other thing that's interesting is some people's models may spark ideas to others and say, I hadn't thought of that, or I
Mm,
didn't realize that was important to you. One of the interesting things I did was for a company that we were doing this for their customer service team.
mm,
And, one of the things I said to them is, why build a model of what your customers tell you about why they like doing business with you. And there were some overlapping things, there were some unique things.
Mm,
And one of them came out and said, well, you know what I take away from these builds and these models is even though it may be expressed differently, we all take pride in our brand,
mm,
and reinforcing that pride that they're doing a good job. They don't always get that. And this came up spontaneously. It came up authentically.
mm.
Yeah, it really touched me.
All right, cool. Yeah, these kind of realizations, right, that people don't take time or to reflect on it. I think I have completely a transformational change, in everybody and in the culture and in the way they collaborate and communicate, right? Very good. Thank you, Sybil. We have 4 minutes left. Unfortunately, I wanted to ask, do you have anything else that you would like to share with us that we haven't covered so far, Sybil?
Um, One of the things I want to share, you know,
Yes.
I've been a solopreneur. I'm,
Hmm.
one person operation.
Yes.
And I know a lot of people are out doing, in their own business.
Hmm.
And one of the things I wanted to share that I learned over the years, and I learned this early doing my own business, is that people would come up to me and say, "Oh, wow, you want to make a better customer employee experience?" I said, "Absolutely." You want to make it better for employees and better for customers? Absolutely. And they'd come up to me and say, "Wow, there are so many companies that need your service." And what I found out is I'm not a millionaire. I'm not living on my own island or living on someplace in Ireland for my second or third home. Uh, what I learned the hard way was the people who needed me the most were not the ones who were going to hire me,
Mm,
because they didn't understand. Partly it was benign neglect. Oh, partly it was ego with the sense of we don't need this, or we're doing okay, or we wouldn't be doing as well as we are, so who needs you?
mm,
I discovered that I had a much better success for the clients and myself and the employees and the customers by working with clients who already understood the importance of
mm,
employee engagement and internal marketing. They were already doing the right things. They just wanted to do more. And
mm,
either they didn't have the manpower or they were out of ideas. I'm humble. I would say the first thing, I did not go in there to say, I'm going to save you. I realized a lot of times they brought me in for additional ideas and additional manpower, and that was fine.
mm,
So I had a better experience with people who already knew and got the concept of internal marketing. And I learned that I didn't have to waste my time or a prospect's trying to sell them on the concept when it wasn't going to do any good.
mm. That's very good, it reminds me to this recent book I read, The Unsold Mindset. It was saying something like, I don't waste time to people that don't appreciate, or I have to explain what this is for, or they don't value what we value and what we think is important. It's a
Yeah,
very good point.
good
Yeah.
point. Good point. The other lesson I learned as a
Yes.
business person is, in my early years, I was out at a meeting with a colleague in San Francisco,
Yes.
and the meeting was breaking up. We were going on our way to the airport, and he said, "You look a little disturbed. What's the problem?" He said, "Was it the meeting?" I said, "No, the meeting was great." I said, "The problem is I have to work on a proposal on the plane on the way home, and I don't have a good feeling about this prospect. The chemistry wasn't there. I didn't like the way, I didn't feel respected. There's one thing to deal with a consultant as a partner. There's another thing to deal with them as a vendor or supplier.
Mm,
And I didn't think
mhm,
he would appreciate the value. And I said, I really don't want to do this, but it was early in my consulting career. I was hungry. I needed, we joke and say, I needed the dues, I needed the money.
mm,
And I said, I don't know what to do about this. And my friend coached me, and I'll never forget this. He said, Sybil, don't ever walk away from business like that.
mm,
He said, run as fast as you can. Don't ever take business that you'll regret.
Oh my God, I love it.
And again, for anyone who's on a solo journey, don't waste your time with prospects who won't appreciate you, and don't take business you'll regret, because it's not fair to the client. You won't do as good a job. It's not fair to you when you could be
Mm,
doing a better job for someone else.
that's really cool. I have goosebumps. I think it's beautiful. I think we can call it like that. We are at the time. I don't know, Sibyl, would you like to share a few last words for making this world a bit better?
May I use my quote now?
Of course, of course.
One thing I always want people to remember is the way your employees feel is the way your customers will feel. And if your employees don't feel valued, neither will your customers. So take care of your employees to take care of customers.
Love it. Thank you so much, Sibyl. It was a big pleasure. Thanks a lot so much for
Oh,
your time.
thank you, Yoshi. I'm so happy to know you and to know that my work will be carried on, and the
Yeah.
passion, it's not just my work, but the importance of employee engagement and employee customer care will be taken on by a new generation like you. So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you to you. That makes me my day for sure. There is no other option. I think if we didn't do that and we take care of the inner part and the connection inside and the people, or the world is going to get crazy. Now with AI and all that, we're going to have robots, instead of people working. So
You got it.
thank you, Civil. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Ciao, ciao.